Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. It's like 4 o'clock in the evening, but it's December, which means it's pitch black outside. So I've got a huge light right in my face. So I will moan. This is a video I should have done months ago. Like, I'm talking months and months ago. So as I mentioned, it's December. I think it's like the 2nd or 3rd of December when I'm filming this. And I had these delivered to my house probably in June or July, I think it was. I think it was just after ABR. But silver lining is that now you can use this as something to put on your Christmas list, I guess. Something like that. Am I really overly white? I think I'm overly white, aren't I? Oh, do you know what I could do? Look at this for professional filming. Diffuse rather than point straight at your face. That's slightly better, isn't it? It's less bright in my face. Right, as I was saying. So if you've been watching my videos for a while now, you will know that I have BarkBusters, which are those things, which are the armoured handguards, the ones with like the metal backbone. They're really good for a couple of reasons. One, obviously having any form of handguard is really good for the wind chill on your old fingers. But the reason I went for the BarkBusters is A, because they look cool, and B, because, as you'll know if you watch the channel, I like to take my bike off-road quite a lot. With that metal backing, if you crash off-road or on-road, that backing takes all the brunt of the hit, so it means your brake lever and your clutch lever are not going to be snapped in half. Means you can ride home if the bike's not in a completely ridiculously mangled state. For this generation, the Gen 3, I think it is, the Gen 3 Super Adventure, BarkBusters took quite a substantial amount of time to bring out an actual product for the 2021 onward model. So I bought the previous generation BarkBusters and I made them fit. So I put spacers in and all that sort of stuff to make them fit. And I did this video explaining how I did that. Not long after I actually filmed that video, I put it out, and by the time I put the video out, BarkBusters had released their 2021 onward model. Slightly inconvenient. And I thought to myself, not the end of the world, I'll deal with it at some other point. They still fit. But Mr. Steve Abel at ABikeThing did a thing where he made me think that no, I'm not going to be able to wait. He started getting the BarkBuster backbones powder coated black. And you know I like things when they're powder coated black. Why is that so important, Sam, that they're powder coated black? Because my Outback Mototech crash bars are black, Outback Mototech sump guard is black, my exhaust is black, and the decal kit I have is essentially mostly black. By having these bright silver metal handguard bars, they just stand out a bit much. And I'll show you what I mean in a second, but you get where this is going, right? My beloved Steve Abel from ABikeThing, and the rest of the company as well, I know Tom and Carol and all the others there, sent me these. As you can see in there, they are powder coated black, and then all the other stuff comes with it as well. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to swap my silver BarkBusters from the 2020 kind of model of BarkBusters for the 2021 onward Super Adventure BarkBusters in black. There's one other thing I've been wanting to do, and I don't know whether this is going to work. On my Super Adventure, I've got bar and mirrors, like I mentioned. I know they're an acquired taste for some people. However, they're really, really good. Like, they don't vibrate at all. They are solid and they don't create any wind turbulence. So the stock mirrors on the KTM can create quite a lot of wind turbulence, and you sort of buffeting around all that, even if you've got your screen up. The bar and mirrors don't. And I was sort of debating whether I want them or not. Keep riding with them, and I keep sitting there going, actually they're really good, so I don't want to get rid of them. But to fit them, like a lot of the other bar and mirrors that you have to drill through the BarkBuster to mount the mirrors on. I don't want to drill through powder coated BarkBusters, because once I've done that, then I'm risking the powder coating flaking off and all sorts of stuff. So I want the powder coating to maintain its sort of structural integrity, I guess. Story time with me. I talk way too much, don't I? Sorry. How do you fit bar and mirrors without drilling? I went into B&Q, which is essentially just, for you non-UK viewers, B&Q is essentially a hardware store. And what I did is I bought these things. These are plumbing washers. They're rock hard, within reason. They're like a really sturdy rubber. And I thought what I can do is I can put that between the end of the handlebar and the BarkBuster. So I've got some smaller ones as well. And the idea being that I put that like that kind of thing, so it creates a step away from the end of the bar and the end of the grip, so I'm not going to get caught on the throttle. As you can see here, these are the BarkBusters. These are the bar end mirrors. These are from Moto Gadget. They're glassless, so there's literally no glass in them. It's like really high polished metal, so you don't get any vibrating at all. There's a little mount here that is drilled through the BarkBuster. If you look at my handlebars now, you can see exactly what I mean by wanting the black BarkBusters, because bright silver clamp, bright silver there, bright silver all the way around, and it just stands out a bit more than I'd like. These are the black BarkBusters from Steve at ABikeThing, and I think, to be fair, I think Steve is the only person powder coating these black, so if you want the black BarkBusters, go to him. But yeah, they're very, very nice. But yeah, as I said, I don't really want to drill through that just in case I mess it up, which is probably more likely. Basically, I don't want to risk it. And the lovely thing about these, he's also got the clamps powder coated. So this is the one that clamps onto the handlebar and it goes in there. What's really nice as well is obviously there's a level of tolerance that has been engineered into the powder, thought of. Normally when you add paint to something, it takes out some of the engineering tolerances, which means you can't actually then fit screws through them and stuff. But there's plenty of space in there. So what we need to do first, remove the old ones, and I will bring you guys back when I've done that, because it's quite boring to watch me remove them, I guess. Old BarkBusters off. So skinny. If you don't have handguards on your bike, please put them on, because it just looks weird. Obviously my old BarkBusters are off. These are the mirrors. So as you can see, they just sort of clamp around, and you can do that bit up in the middle. They clamp around, but they're solid. I really like these. Actually, the one thing I was going to show you on my right hand side BarkBuster, that's obviously where I've drilled through, as I mentioned before, but can you see that sort of gouging on the edge? That is where I went down the road, and I mean, it's not deformed the bar at all. That's the reason you have BarkBusters. There are slightly longer bolts, so these are the ones from the stock BarkBusters. As you can see, the bolts are quite a bit longer, and I'm assuming that is just to account for this big spacer. As per usual on this bike, and quite a lot of bikes, the universal stuff doesn't seem to fit. You kind of have to make it fit, which is a bit crap. On my old kit, you had two of these. That clamps around the handlebar, the BarkBuster mounts onto that. You have one on each side, and then you have a spacer on the right hand side, because basically the front brake master cylinder gets in the way. Clutch side seems to be really, really easy. So this one, the black one, is for the left side, so your clutch hand. That bolt goes through there with the nut on the bottom. You've got the two 13, I would assume they're 13mm bolts. That clamps onto the handlebar with the base out the bottom like that. And then for the other side, the one that's normally a bit more difficult, you've got these two things. Two of these clamps, bearing in mind there's a ridge in one side. That one goes on the outside and it connects to this thing. So that's essentially what you're getting on for the right side. Now when you're mounting these, this shape here comes down from the handlebars. So it's not like that, it's like that. So this is going into the bar end, that comes around and onto the mount. I'm going to get these mounts on the bike and I'll bring you guys back in a second, because you know what doing bolts up looks like. Big long bolt in the end, your big boy spacer goes there, again black, quite nice. The smaller spacer goes on there, and as you can see that actually fits into, that's when you get these things, the little, that thing, you know what I mean. And then that, what I like to do is, see those little notches on there, and then obviously there's gaps in the spacer, so I like to screw it in until it catches in one of those gaps there. Really, really easy. That goes in there, and then do this up a little bit. This isn't obviously super tight, but I can still open my throttle completely fine because there's space there. This BarkBuster comes down and then along to there like that. This is really awkward to do one-handed. I'll bring you guys back in a second. I need to do all this up properly. I need to make sure none of these wires are getting sort of pinched or going to wear away or anything at the bottom of the bolt. So I'll deal with that in a minute. Way nicer. Fits in completely in line. And then obviously once I've done these all up, it's all black, which is lovely apart from the bolts. It is raining, so if you can hear a noise that sounds like rain on a garage roof, that's why. So this is taking a little bit more faff. Really easy to get the BarkBusters actually on themselves. The problem I was having is fitting these bar end mirrors. Now, as I said, I don't really want to drill through them. There's a space in between there that I had to replace, so I could then put these little washer things on, as I mentioned before, the plumbing washers. I put those on there so I could fit this mirror onto it. Now this is sort of in place as well. I'm just going to do the same thing, pull this out a little bit further, put my spacers in, and then mount my mirrors on. I will have to see what it's like to see if that's too tight there. Obviously I can lift this mirror up quite a lot if I want to, ignoring the BarkBuster moving as well. I can sort of spin that round as well, so I can bring it higher or put it lower if I want to. My ideal would be that that is like as low as possible so you can barely see them. That would be my perfect sort of solution to this. If you imagine having like a big BarkBuster here, you're barely going to see that mirror, which is exactly what I want. Almost like it doesn't have any mirrors on it. That's my sort of end goal. The 2021 kit is so much easier to fit than the 2020 kit for obvious reasons. So absolutely buckets of clearance compared to the previous model, which is perfect. It's done. Look at them. They look so much nicer in black. So they are slightly shiny because I've just cleaned them. They're all on, they're all done up, all my crash guards and everything, which is lovely because it now means that this just blends into one. It's not like a bright silver and then the black, which I love. The other thing that's really cool is that I've actually managed to move the mirrors in a little bit. They were on the outside of the bar here somewhere. Now they're on the inside, meaning it's a very neat kind of finish, but it also means the mirror is now further in. There's only a small difference between the end of the BarkBuster and the end of the mirror, which means hopefully now that they're lower and further in, it should mean it's way easier to filter on. I can still get my hand in completely fine. There's no, like, I can move it all the way across. I'll try it with gloves tomorrow because I'm in the office tomorrow, but there's plenty of space between my hand and the mirror. Literally doesn't come anywhere close with the clutch, and then the brake side is obviously the same as well, and then obviously the throttle is completely fine as well. You don't see these like really garish bright silver things. It's all black. I think that looks really good. So there you go. Thank you very much to Steve at ABikeThing and the rest of the team at ABikeThing as well. Sorry it took me 6 months to do a video and fit them. I'm going to go in now because Emma's nagging me to put the Christmas tree up. Oh, also, I forgot to put this in the video, but they don't hit the screen at all. Like, not even close. I have got bar risers. I've got like 20mm SW Motec bar risers. Let me get my light before someone kicks off.
So dark in your garage. I can't believe you're so dark.
These are the 20mm SW Motec bar risers. But even with that, we are miles away from the screen. So full lock is not a problem at all. Wait. So now goodbye. See you in next week's video. Wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Bye.